Drums beating hot thunder in the skies. Echoes from the field waves crash in. Broadcast through the pain, release the sin. Heavy burdens shared over the air. Presence felt strong, raw and bare. Bound by a cord, tales divide and then podcast lifeline, a bridge to the end. Wisdom in the woods, stars tapped through deep. Past isn't demon, memories won't sleep. Rush through the static, share the fight. In the veteran's voice, find the light. Tip of the spear, cutting through the haze. A veteran's tales of those crazed days. Speaking to the dark, let the ghosts arise. A lifetime unfolding before your eyes. Heavy blood shed over the air. Presence felt strong, raw and bare. Bound by a cord, sails divide and mend. Podcast lifeline, a bridge to the end. Wisdom in the womb, stars tattooed deep. Past is a demon, memories won't sleep. Push through the static, share the fight. In the veteran's voice, find a light.
Gents, how are we doing this evening?
Not too bad, man. What's up?
I'm doing all right. Yourself?
Doing good, doing good. It's been raining here all day in Kentucky. I feel like I need to change my name to Noah, go to Home Depot and Lowe's and buy all the lumber I can and start building an ark.
Wow.
There's already one in Kentucky somewhere, right?
There is, yeah, it's south of me. It's huge, but I don't know if it floats.
I don't know if y'all know this, but I'm originally from the small town Corbin, Kentucky.
I know where Corbin is.
Yeah, I lived there for like the first 15 years of my life, and then moved away, and then did Army stuff, and then now I'm in Texas. But I've never been able to visit that ark. I really want to go back there and see that.
Yeah, it's nice. My in-laws used to work in the ticket booth, and then they moved like towards the gift shop and did some stuff at the ark. So we used to go at least once a year when they worked there. It's pretty neat to see, and just knowing that the history of the Bible piece of it, and I guess it's to scale. I mean, nobody really knows, right? Because there's no plans.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's pretty cool to see. Yeah, I highly encourage that if you can get up here to see it. Most definitely, you should.
Well, I got ties to Evansville, Indiana, so I mean, Kentucky was just right over the river.
Yeah. I'm not from here originally. I'm from Maine originally, and then the wonderful travel and adventure that the Marine Corps promised me brought me here on recruiting duty. And then I met my lovely wife, and after I retired, I followed her back home, and now she wants to go back to the beach. I'm like, we should have just stayed in North Carolina. I mean, come on.
What part of Maine were you from?
Howland. It's about 32 miles north of Bangor. So geographically, it's almost dead center of the state. Population wise, we're still considered northern Maine.
Yeah, so I've been to Bangor. That's getting up there.
Yeah, I think my graduating class, I think we might have had somewhere between 78 and 83, maybe. And that's from like 9-10 different towns.
Yeah.
So, and on recruit duty, I'm here, and some of these classes have 300 plus just in the senior class.
Yeah. It's something else though, because Maine is people don't understand how large Maine actually is. By square mileage or acreage. It's I think it's like the fourth, like Texas, Alaska, and then I think it's like number 4.
Yeah,
and
it's
then,
somewhere there.
Then the ironic thing is it's per capita, it's sparsely populated. And then someone's like, oh no, Portland's busy, Augusta's busy. I said, yeah, get 15 miles outside of Augusta and you were in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. I mean, off of 95.
Yep.
Up into Augusta. So everything that's, I guess, the east, right towards the coast, you're going to find heavy population. You go to the west, a half hour, 45 minutes, it's little to nothing. Then you get north of me up in Aroostook County, over near Moosehead Lake, up in the Allagash, and that's even less populated.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's great to be with you guys tonight, even though it's just the 3 of us.
Just
on a Wednesday night, just the 3 of us.
Yeah, I mean, the week before Christmas, you can't expect a whole bunch of people show up. unlike last month when we had 10, 12 of us on here.
Right.
Maybe that's something we can talk about the host too.
Yeah,
Moving
where
forward.
is the host? I mean, you
The
guys had,
host is with his lovely bride at her company Christmas party.
Oh, he got trapped.
Yeah, so he leaves it up to me, and I'm like, dude, I have no clue what I'm doing. If I screw it up, this is on you.
you're doing fine, man. You're doing
Yeah.
fine. I
Yeah.
just wondered where the host was. I'm like, okay, but all
Yeah,
right.
I'm sure he will pop in on his phone and take a look and just to see if how well we're
still
doing and
here.
who's
We're
on the
still here,
show.
David.
Yeah, he's snooping and pooping.
So what's going on in the military world? What we want to talk about in the time we have?
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about Army Navy. Man, that is not the outcome I expected of the Army Navy game with what the records that they had. And then, I went on base after to Fort Myer after Reese Across America at Arlington, and all the soldiers on post are like, "Go Army, go!" I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." I was like, if they can stop the run this year, absolutely, they've got it. They've got a great team. There's no reason that they can't. And then I was on the road. I didn't listen to the game, and my teammate that was with me pulls up the score about 6:30. He goes, "It's 13-31 Navy." I'm like, "There's no way, dude. Are you looking at the right score?" And he's giving me the rundown, and I'm like, "Well, who scored? What were what are the stats?" He goes, "Well, the quarterback was 4 for 9." I'm like, "What? 9 passes the entire game? Are you serious?" He goes, "Yeah, like 107 yards and 2 touchdowns." I'm like, "I'll take that all day, every day." Half your completions are touchdowns. Come on now.
Plus 100 plus, man. If it was a PPR league, he would have been doing all right.
Yeah,
Not great numbers, but not bad either.
not
I mean,
bad.
the QB
But
range not too bad.
But his second set of numbers is
Yeah,
crazy.
Here it comes.
25 carries, 204 yards rushing.
Oh, so
with,
he is the
with
offense.
2 touchdowns. The quarterback's accounted for 4 touchdowns himself. And then you compare that to Army. They only threw the ball 16 times, and he only connected 7 with 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and he only threw for 65 yards.
They're supposed to be the best offensive line in the country.
Well, they didn't show it last week. Hopefully during their bowl game they show it, but last week they did not show it at all. And then he had 19 carries for 52 yards. The quarterback had more yards rushing than the Army quarterback combined with his rushing and throwing.
Wow.
I mean, come on. I mean, good on Navy. The last 2 games that Navy has won, I have not been at the game. Every game I go to, Army ends up winning. So maybe I am the jinx for Navy and should not go to the game. But if Navy continues to do what they're doing, I'll be back at the game next year. And if they lose, that'll be my last one. I will not go back again. I mean, I've got no stake in the game being a Marine, but it is the one time a year that we do root for Uber.
So yeah, I was asked about that. It's funny you mentioned that, Sam. I was asked about that. Like why aren't you getting really into this? I said because in the Marine Corps, the only people who really got fired up about were the Annapolis grads who were officers. And I don't know about you all, but in my experience, the Annapolis grad officers were interesting to deal with.
Ring knockers. So
Yeah,
I had 2 Annapolis grads. One of them was my very first platoon commander. Amazing guy, great platoon commander. I would have followed him to the gates of hell and back. And then the other one was after I came off recruiting duty. He was my XO, battalion executive officer. And he was a great dude too. And then he actually, after I got injured, he brought me over to 6th Marine Regiment. He was the ops chief, and he made me the assistant operations. Or he was the operations officer, made me the assistant operations chief. But other than that, all the other academy grads that I served under, it was all about the most of them were on their pinky. It was all about that little ring that they had. So
that's the thing. I tried very nice to say it, but a lot of them, made you understand that they're better than you because they went to Annapolis and they're not really interested in anything you have to say. And it was really funny. Some of the officers who didn't go to Annapolis had ways of reminding them that, hey, you know what? You're not the Marine Corps. You need us to all work together. It was
Yeah.
interesting. Some of
Yeah.
them were, and you're right. You either got very, very good ones. I'm like, you know what? That dude, I'd follow that dude through a wall.
Yeah.
Or you know what? I wonder if he gets lost out in the woods. wonder.
I wonder if you just give him the plugger and give him run grid coordinate and just let him keep going on his own, and we do our thing. Yeah, there was a few times there. Oh, Theory just popped in here.
But it wasn't like a big thing with me. The Army Navy game. I think it's nice to see us get the attention, but it's not like something I set my hat on or watch by.
Yeah, and Navy changed the percentage of the guys and girls that can choose Marine option. It used to be 10%, period. That was it. And I think they bumped that up to like 15 or 20% that can go Marine option, even with, Marine Corps downsizing, the way that they are. But yeah, I mean, there's still a huge Marine Corps presence on base as far as the instructors and some of the cadre and some of the leadership.
Sure.
But it's pretty neat to see because we jump into every Navy home game. So I get to, get that firsthand experience of, being there at the stadium and seeing how many Marines are there. And, most of the people that are teaching drill are former drill instructors, enlisted drill instructors.
Okay.
Terry, how you doing?
This year's game really had a different kind of scope for me because, usually you look at them, what uniforms they're wearing, what's their rank going to be? Are they going to make a bowl game? And usually this game doesn't mean that much other than just the fact that the two service academies are playing. But this year, me being in the Army, they're wearing the 101st Airborne Division uniforms, throwbacks to, the Bastogne during the Battle of the Bulge. So that meant a lot. So it's always good to see that. But yeah, if you don't control the line of scrimmage with having the horses you're supposed to have, then it's never going to be a good day when Army and Navy get together because they're going to run it down each other's throats. And, I've got 3 other Navy guys on my podcast with me, so they let me have it yesterday. So I'd appreciate you Marines taking it easy on me today a little bit. Because, that was a terrible loss. But, I mean, that's the game that you watch every year. And no matter who wins or loses, that, what they're going to do next is even more important than that game. So.
Yeah, and the cool thing is it was for the Commanders in Chief Cup too, right? Sometimes that's already decided by that game.
Right.
A few years ago, Air Force beat both of them, so there was no prize other than the brag of singing second. That's the only bragging rights that there was. And this
Which
year,
is a big deal.
Yeah, this year it was sing second. It was the trophy. It was just a lot on the line this year for that game.
And Navy's got they're playing the Armed Forces Bowl against somebody. I forget who it is.
Oklahoma.
But Oklahoma, yeah. They got a pretty good game. Army does as well. I mean, they're going to have a good bowl game as well.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that I remember when I was in the Marine Corps and even afterwards, it was kind of like, yeah. It's the military guys playing a game back to the SEC. I'm an LSU fan. But I really do like the fact that, and I'm sure money has a lot to do with it. I'm not totally naive, but it is nice seeing them get the press, the recognition, the marketing, if you will. I know it's not altruistic or anything, but it is nice to see.
Yeah.
What exactly are we talking about right now?
Army Navy game. I know you came in during the middle of it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was fixing up dinner for the little one.
You're good, man. You're good.
Yeah.
How are you? How's everything on your end?
Oh, everything's good here. Just got done fixing up dinner for the kids and one of them at least. The other one's at her boyfriend's house where she basically lives. Our house is now turned into just a hotel. But such as a 15-year-old girl. So, right. Other than that, schoolwork, just kind of chopping away at that. I go on Christmas break as of Monday, so I'll be out of class for 2 weeks, which is nice. And then just working on new music and just kind of kicking it.
I've been loving the stuff I've been seeing on social media, man.
Hey,
thank you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I got a lot of good stuff coming. And actually, there's a guy who, as of maybe 18 minutes ago, 19 minutes ago now, hopefully, a guy in Dubai is talking to the label owner, the label I'm signed to, Big Homies Records. He's talking to this guy in Dubai who owns a apparel company, and he sells his clothes to like Rue 21 and like a whole bunch of other real big stores. And he's like, I kind of would want to sponsor you guys if you guys would be up to it. So some terms and conditions that the owner of the label is going over with him today on a Zoom call is going to be us playing at least 2 shows in Dubai over the term of the 1-year contract. And so I may be going to Dubai to play a concert,
That's what I'm talking
Nice.
about.
which would be
That's what I'm talking
Nice.
about, big homie.
fucking awesome. Yeah, I'm keeping my fingers crossed on that. But yeah, can't wait to see what comes from that. And then really everything else is just me planning a day to go to the range, zero in my new optics that I got for the guns, and be a boring stay-at-home dad.
That doesn't sound boring to me at all. That sounds like a great day on the range, zeroing a new weapon and optic.
Yeah. No, it was nice. I waited like over a month for this optic to come in. And I got it for the rifle. And
So let me ask a question, man. I mean, this might sound like duh, but I've got buddies of mine who, I mean, I'm more, I can't help it. I'm more of an iron sights kind of guy. Maybe if I'm truly hunting, maybe I'll get a scope, but even then it's like, nah. But there are guys who spend more on the glass, as they say, than they do on the weapon platform itself. Does it make that big a deal? Is it really that big of a game changer? He pulls out this optic. It's Swarovski, I think is what it was, some model. And he's like, yeah, man, this is about $3,000. I'm like
Yeah.
it was just nothing.
Some of them are stupid expensive.
What are you getting?
I got mine for about $350. It wasn't too bad. It's nothing crazy. Like, it's not an actual like scope. There's no zoom feature. It's basically just, I like iron sights. I like shooting on iron sights. I always have. I actually shot better when I was doing rifle qualifications when I was in the Marine Corps. I shot better with iron sights. Even at the 500-yard line, I still shot better. But I also, when I was active duty, my first 3 years were qualifying with iron sights. My last 2 years, they had the ACOGs, and I fucking hated it. So I felt like I shot awfully with that. But I mean, I don't know. I like the optic that I got because there's no zoom feature. It's just basically for target precision.
Sure. I mean, I'm just curious because I'm like,
Yeah. And I don't intend on doing any long range shooting. So, for close quarter shooting, I think that would be a lot better, just to kind of have that quick target, acquisition. So I like it. And then I got a new foregrip for it. And then a tack light came in the mail. So I put that on there, just kind of modifying it out a little bit, having some fun with it, seeing what I like, what I don't like. But I know for the pistol, I got the SC. I have a SIG P320, which actually I'm thinking very strongly about trading in because my cousin, who does like shooting competitions out in Illinois, huge gun enthusiast, and he has been giving me like article after article after article about the SIG P320s firing on their own.
yeah, I've had some cops tell me they're
Yeah.
because that's the thing. That's a
yeah.
real thing.
It's an absolutely it is a thing. And the crazy thing about it was when I watched some videos, because he told me about it, and I was like, there's no way, because that I'm pretty sure this year, the Marine Corps just announced that was the official sidearm. So
the Army's already using it. I saw it
Yeah.
on Fort Myer last week.
Yeah. So when I started looking up videos and stuff, I think it was in like Minnesota or somewhere, where 2 police officers, and separate, stories, but 2 different police officers from this police department. The same police department actually had their pistols shoot while holstered, and one got shot in the leg and almost bled to death, and the other one it just hit the ground as they were trying to pick up someone that they were detaining, and they were trying to pick him up, and I guess the pistol was in the holster and it caught the pant leg of the other officer, and when he stood up, it made the gun go off and it hit the ground, like the bullet hit the ground. And there's a couple other, crazy stories about that pistol firing on its own. So he's like, you might want to look into trading that in, because I know you carry concealed and you carry with one chambered, which I do. That's the right way to carry.
Why would you not?
Right. So I was like, I'm thinking about trading that in. As long as the optic that I got for it will fit, because I just spent $400 on that thing. It's the Holosun, which I love Holosun optics. The SCS 320 is a really, really nice green dot. But I'm a little sad about it, because I really like SIG guns and the P320.
Well, what are they saying is the issue?
So
is it the hammer? Is it the? I mean,
Sounds like a trigger issue.
From what I'm hearing, there's something that, because it has a manual safety that you click up, and it's kind of by the slide, and it's like on the top portion of the
I'm looking at a picture. I was trying to figure out.
So I have the M18. The M18 is the generation that the Marine Corps uses as their official sidearm now, because there's the SCS P320, there's the base model, there's the P320X, and then there's the M18, and I have the M18, and I haven't read anything where the M18 is a problem, because that safety allows the trigger to not be pulled back at all. But the problem that a lot of people are saying is that when the gun is dropped, or if it's shaken really badly, or it gets caught on something like your pant leg or something, I don't know, that it has the potential to go off. And then I was actually talking to Rich LaMonica earlier this week. Or no, it was last week, but a few days ago, whatever it was. And we were talking about how he said after about 3,000 rounds, the P320s start to fail, and you start to see the issues.
How many rounds?
3,000.
That's it?
Not very many at all. Yeah.
Man.
So I'm a little sad about it, because it's a new pistol that I got maybe a month and a half ago. I still had yet to shoot it. But I'm just kind of looking into some different ones, and a whole bunch of people are giving me their opinions on what they think I should get. A lot of people are kind of leaning towards M&P. I just want a basic 9mm. I don't want to carry like a 40 or a 45. I just want a 9mm.
Yeah, I carry a Smith & Wesson M&P 40.
Yeah,
I love it. It's got an ambidextrous safety on it. It's got a smooth trigger pull.
Yeah. See, I like the M&Ps. I had one, but the Springfield, I had a XD9, and that thing was super reliable. Yeah. There were guns that I would like. I had a Taurus G3C, and there was one specific round that would not fire in this Taurus. It just would not fire. Like every other round would go smooth, and then this one round wouldn't go. So I put it in my Springfield, and it fired fine. So I was like, I don't know what the hell the problem was.
That's a fire. It sounds like a firing pin issue on that one. Not striking properly.
Right. So I ended up trading that gun in, and putting that towards the SIG that I bought. But yeah, I think I'm going to lean towards the Smith & Wesson or another Springfield. I also was looking into Shadow Systems. I guess it's a newer brand. They kind of mimic the Glock. There's one that they have that's kind of almost identical to a Glock 19. Minor differences, but I was looking into those, but they're a little more high end. Canik also. I know Canik has some really good pistols. But I'm really not sure. I'm a little butthurt about SIG. I really liked them, and they're denying everything too. That's the crazy part. Is people are sending all these emails and they're sending all these complaints about their misfires, and their SIG's just like, oh, well, the gun is perfectly safe, and it usually is a user issue, and if you practice safe firearm handling, then you won't get hurt with our guns. And it's like, dude, this cop's pistol was holstered and it shot him in the leg and he almost died. Like,
Yeah.
how do you explain that? So I don't know. Who knows?
I'm an FN fan myself. I've had pretty good luck with them.
I like FN. I just don't like the price.
Well,
Yeah.
I got these before the prices went crazy, and now I looked at the 5x7 one thing. That'd be a cool one to kind of dial in and play with.
Yeah.
And I'm like, $1,500 for a handgun that
It used to be $2,000.
Yeah, I can't find one for any less than like 13 right now.
Yeah.
And
so,
the 1,300 was used.
Yeah, so
It wasn't even brand
FN
new.
was the only one that had it for a while. So they had the corner of the market. And now I want to say there's like 3 or 4 other
There's 3.
companies that are making the 5.7, and
HK makes one. Palmetto Armory makes one.
Yeah.
I think
yeah, Palmetto's
HK,
is
yeah.
nice.
I've
Palmetto's is
heard
nice.
good things about the HKs.
Yeah,
Oh,
my
really?
buddy
The
has
Palmetto?
the Palmetto.
Oh, he
and
does.
It's a friggin' nail driver. It shoots straight and little to no recoil. He loves it.
My buddy was telling me that's like $400 too. He's like, dude, I mean,
Yeah.
you're paying for the name at this point. So.
Yeah, it's
for sure.
I think he paid $500 and it came with 2 mags. If you're paying the $400 price, you're getting 1 mag.
Yeah. But
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
we'll buy
my SIG was like $575, and it came with a 21 round mag and 2 17 round mags.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a steal, and I didn't even have to pay the full price because I traded in my Taurus towards it. So I got like $150 for the Taurus, and I was like, just put it towards the SIG, and I'll just pay the difference, and that's what I did. So, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't shot it yet. Like I said, I kind of want to shoot it first, because it doesn't mean that every single SIG handgun is going to be, misfiring. But I also don't want to become a statistic either. So
Yeah.
better safe than sorry. So I think I'm going to be trading it in here soon. So we shall see. How's everybody else over here doing? You guys doing all right?
I just had a question for Ty. I mean, I've watched your podcast. Just curious how it's going for you podcasting wise as you count down to the end of this year, man.
It's going pretty good. We've been at it for about 78 episodes, and we keep a pretty good guest list. We're out till April now of next year, but we're learning. We all have 4 careers, and we do this on the side, so it's been fulfilling. It's been very therapeutic. It's been something that I've invested my time and effort into. So I mean, it's been great. I mean, not only for the guests that we bring on, the awareness kind of the programs we give our audience, but like I tell the guys every week, it's therapeutic for me to come on and just wax poetic about some things. I do a barbecue podcast on every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central. So, those 2 days.
Do tell.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for real. It's
Yeah.
called the So Smooth.
Whoa. Are you a barbecue aficionado there, Ty?
I wouldn't say that I'm aficionado, but I can wash some dishes pretty well. But like I got involved with the barbecue scene here in Texas, here in Houston, by being at my local Tomball VFW. So we started having, barbecue competitions there, and it got pretty, I thought, okay, we'll go taste some barbecue, but it got pretty serious to the point that where there's a production aspect, a promotion aspect, a business aspect where you're actually trying to make money. So, I mean, I've gotten into it about 6 years ago, and we've been doing the podcast for 7 years now. It's got a very big following in the barbecue industry. The owner of the podcast and the host is a guy named Rob Arocha. Now, they are the subject matter experts when it comes to barbecue, but I do the podcasting and kind of do the production in the background. But getting to know that culture and getting to taste some of that food and seeing some of those world champions do their thing, throw down, man, it's been cool as hell. And so that's therapeutic for me as well, because there's a lot of veterans that are involved in that, with the preparation of, I've likened it to, You got to get your ammo ready. You know, that's all your meats and everything. You got to get your weapon ready. That's your pit. You know, whatever you're cooking on, you got to move that shit out. You know, that's logistical nightmares that we did when we were deploying.
Yeah.
So a lot of those same muscle memory groups, you use those same things when you're doing barbecue. So with the culture here and with the people involved with it, you know, I enjoy it. So you should watch it. It's called, I'll put a link in. It's called the So Smoking Gooder Show.
Yeah, we jump into Tomball every year during the Battle of Tomball. So next year, I'm going to make sure I'm on that one, and I'm going to hit you up when I'm coming to town.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'll get my information from David to you, and then you can stay here. I live close to one of the airports here up in the north, so yeah, we'll show you all around. What do you call the Battle of Tomball? What do you mean?
When Tomball Memorial plays Tomball Independent.
Right. Okay.
We jump for that every single year.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. This year I went from Virginia Tech to Mississippi State, and they wanted me to go to Tomball in between. I'm like, I can't drive that. That it's not possible in that time frame. I mean, it is, but if you want me to actually do my job, it's not possible. So we ended up sending one of the other guys to Tomball instead.
Very cool. Yeah.
But yeah, I'll let you know if we're in the area. We get to Texas a couple times a year.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Heck yeah.
Never been to I've been to the Texas airports. I've flown through Austin and I think San Antonio. But other than that, I've never actually been outside of the airports I've always wanted to go.
Yeah, you're missing out. You're missing out.
In the whole land.
Yeah, that's what everyone keeps saying.
I mean, if outside the airport in Austin, you're not missing anything.
Oh yeah,
but the other areas, you're definitely missing out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
so where would you recommend for me to go?
Dallas, Houston, the Fort Worth area.
Dallas.
Yeah, okay. Houston, you know, down there in like the Sugar Lands or Tomball or the Woodlands, any of that area down there.
Yeah, if you're coming for music for like business, come to Houston. I mean, H-Town, it's got the Chopped and Screwed. It's got all the hip hop culture comes right out of H-Town. But if you want to go for like Southwest culture and Tex-Mex culture, like you can't miss with San Antonio. It's a beautiful place. Riverwalk's wonderful.
The Riverwalk, the Alamo's right there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I'd probably want to travel for music because I know that we're trying to plan for 2025 a small tour around. I think right now we have like 8 different states in mind, and Texas was one of them. So I think I'll talk to the owner and I'll see if we can lock in Houston. That would be cool.
Yeah, the Houston House of Blues has some pretty good hip hop events.
Houston House of Blues. Okay.
Yeah, it's I got some pretty good hip hop events there.
Sweet. Sorry, Travis. You were just about to say something. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I live in Shreveport, Louisiana, so we got to Marshall, Tyler. I went to Houston, Austin, and Dallas. Dallas a whole lot. And it's funny. People don't believe me up here in New England how big Texas actually is. I'm like, look, you could fit 5 Bostons in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and have room left over.
Yeah.
No way, man. Boston's the biggest city I'm like, no, not even close, dude. Not even close.
Yeah, square mile wise, not at all. Not even.
Yeah. Houston is the 4th biggest city in America. Yeah. And I've driven around in Chicago's traffic, and I've driven around in like Jacksonville, Florida's traffic, but Houston traffic is the worst traffic I've ever seen in my life.
I'd rather drive Chicago. I'd rather drive Chicago. I'd rather drive LA. Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Yeah, at least Chicago's got 17 lanes. Texas, you gotta get what you can get out of them 5 to 6 lanes, and people are driving 75 miles an hour.
And God forbid if it's raining.
Oh my
God.
Well, in Dallas, right, they have the LBJ, the 635, that pretty much is a big loop around the city, and so traffic moves. But Houston doesn't have that.
Well, that's the thing is they have 2 loops, but they've got so much traffic that the main corridors north and south, both of them are just completely bumper to bumper just about every rush hour, be it morning, noon, or night. So anyway, big city.
I'm from Chicago, so like Chicago has always been real bad with traffic. That's where I was born and raised. I'm actually I'm going there. We leave Sunday, the family and me. We're going to be going from the 22nd to the 26th for Christmas to spend with my family like we always do. And every time I hit Chicago, I'll drive flawlessly throughout my entire trip. And it's only a 5.5 hour drive. I'm driving from Louisville, Kentucky to Chicago. So it's not very far, but I'll drive all the way through Indiana flawlessly, just no traffic, no nothing. And then as soon as I hit the Chicago Skyway toll, it's like immediate bumper to bumper, no matter what time of day. It's the most ridiculous thing. And I'm like, I'm so glad that I moved. Like I don't want to do this anymore. I drive myself nuts.
We used to go up there 4 times a year to jump for Northwestern. And I would drive it, and I'm like, this is the stupidest thing I could ever do.
It's so
just
dumb.
Continue to drive this. So we started going, instead of doing the Skyway, we would take the what is it? Is it 90 maybe?
Yeah, 90 or 94.
And then I would go up towards ORD O'Hare,
okay,
and then come across the top part, and I avoided all that downtown.
Yeah,
I
think
to avoid downtown.
Yeah, I think that's what I'll do, because a lot of the times the shortest route on the GPS will take me through the Skyway, because after I pass through the Skyway, you drive a little bit. You don't even drive all the way down. It's maybe 3 or 4 exits, and then it's a off ramp for Lakeshore Drive.
Yep.
And Lakeshore Drive is a lot of fun to drive when there's no traffic, because you get to see all the real cool buildings all downtown, and get to drive through all the lights. And especially around Christmas time, everything's lit up, and if you're driving through there at night, it's really, really pretty. That's kind of one of the things that I miss about living in the city. Thankfully, Louisville has like a nice city and country mix. But my wife is from Jacksonville, North Carolina, and
Jacksonville.
Yeah, no, that place is
talk about a metroplex.
That place is the worst place on planet Earth. I hated Jacksonville, North Carolina. It was the worst. But that's where she was born and raised, and so she likes coming to the city, but she absolutely hates going there for Christmas. Like she'll do it because she loves my family, and she doesn't really get along with her family, but she hates Chicago in the wintertime because it gets like -40, -50, and she's like, this is stupid. Like, why are we here? Like, this is not fair.
Yeah.
She's in North Carolina. It gets like, in the height of winter, it's maybe 50 degrees.
So it'll get down to the high 20s. At
really?
Night. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't remember it being that cold.
I remember my first enlistment. I was probably a lance corporal, maybe a corporal. It snowed in Jacksonville, and they're on the back of pickup trucks shoveling salt off the back of pickup trucks because they didn't have salt.
They don't have they don't have salt trucks. They don't have plows.
Yeah. And then just before I retired, there was suspected snow, and they went from Raleigh west and got 1 or 2 trucks from every single county and brought them back over to Jacksonville. And we were shut down for 4 days because we had like 4 inches of snow.
Yeah. It did snow this one year when I was active duty. It snowed. And before it snowed, like it was, oh my God, like the very hint of snow, they were like, the whole base is shutting down.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, we're part of the most elite fighting force on planet Earth, and we're going to shut down the whole base off of a possibility of snow. So I was like, whatever, I don't got to go to work. I'm cool with it. So I went to a friend's house, and we just got drunk and went sledding, and had a tow strap, and we put it at the end of his pickup truck, and sat and we took off the tops to his garbage cans, and we sat in them and just went drunk sledding, and it was a lot of fun. I had like 6-7 days off work. I didn't care.
Nice. Yeah, I remember the only thing that was open was the Mai Tai restaurant. Was that on Gum Branch? I can't remember, but it was the Chinese restaurant. It was a buffet. That's the only thing that was open.
Yeah.
So that place was packed. I mean, they made a ton of money over that 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But
yeah, that place is crazy.
Yeah. So you mentioned you're going home for Christmas.
Mhm.
Anybody got any weird or non-traditional holiday traditions that you do in your family? Like for us, I make lumpia. That's the only thing my boys want for Christmas dinner is lumpia. I'll
Hmm.
make 2 packs, which is about 50 lumpia, and they'll just eat on that all throughout the Christmas break. So I mean
Hmm.
that's the only weird thing that we do different than what a traditional, I guess, Christmas ish is. What about you guys?
Well, I grew up kind of where you would open one Christmas present on New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve, but then now we don't do any of that. We have fondue on Christmas Eve, and that's pretty cool. That's my wife's family thing, and then they make a bunch of pies and they eat like out of the middle. Like that's a weird family thing they do. So yeah,
Hmm.
nothing crazy. Normally we're traveling too. I got family up in Joliet, uh, Illinois, so we're
Yeah,
always
yeah.
up there
Not
for Christmas.
not too
Yeah, but
far from me.
we're chilling here. So I've got 6 children and one grandson. So everybody's going to be coming throughout the house here over the couple Christmas days, and so we'll just sit around and watch football and do whatever. We don't
Yeah.
have
Yeah,
any craziness.
yeah.
Very,
You weren't on last month, Ty, but Theory in his household loves some pie.
Hmm.
Like everybody had their own pie for Thanksgiving.
It's very true.
Yeah,
We
I was
we
on
legit
last.
had
I was
like
on last month.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah,
heard that story. That was, yeah,
5
yeah.
different pies
yeah.
in the house. It was so crazy, but they were all so good. Except for I don't like pumpkin pie, so I didn't have any of that. But I did have some of the pecan pie. That was good. I had the Reese's one. That was the one I picked out. I ate like half of it. I actually wrote because I didn't get the first few slices, and I was like, there was a total of 12 slices in this pie. It was pretty big, and the slices were cut fairly large too. So it's not like they were tiny little slivers. They were pretty thick slices. So I looked and I was like, dinner's been over for 15 minutes and half the pie, more than half the pie was already gone. I was like, nah, I haven't had one slice yet. So, and most of the other pies weren't touched yet. So I was like, this is bullshit. So I wrote a note on a loose leaf paper and I taped it to the top of the container. And it said, if anybody touches this pie, I will break your kneecaps with a hammer.
Nice. That's
And I
very
put it
direct.
and I put it in my fridge and nobody else touched it. And I got to eat that over the next couple days. So it was cool.
Oh, it's
Nice.
crazy.
But as far as Christmas stuff goes, we don't really have any traditions. I know that my family, Christmas is a really big deal on my side of the family. My mom and my stepdad, we usually do Christmas Eve with his side. After they got divorced, we kind of started going back and forth. So we go to Christmas Eve with his side of the family, which isn't very big. And then on Christmas Day, we go to my aunt's house and we'll have that. But I know that we used to do like a grab bag, and a couple years ago, last year actually, it was the first year that it stopped. And what used to happen was you'd pick a name around Thanksgiving time, which my family does a family Thanksgiving in the beginning of November, because on Thanksgiving Day, everyone's usually out with their spouses, families, and whatnot. So they find a day in the beginning of November to get together and have a family Thanksgiving. But you pick a name out of a hat, and that's the person that you're doing a secret Santa for. And it's like a $75 max, like, buy them whatever, and now apparently everybody's just too broke, around the country. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
we're not going to do this anymore. So they started doing gift cards last year and everybody complained. So now we're doing apparently a liquor swap this year,
Oh, nice.
and I'm sober, so I will not be participating. So it's kind of lame. Little bit upset that we're not doing much as far as the traditions go. But usually we just order catering, and we get like Italian beefs and mastacholi,
Oh, nice.
and
Yeah,
we'll make brandy Alexanders, and uh, just kind of, my family loves to get drunk, so
What's a Brandy Alexander?
so it's just brandy, and you put like gallons of brandy, and you get like gallons of vanilla ice cream, and you just blend it and mix it up, and turn it into a soup and then you drink it. It's actually really good.
Yeah, but
But it, you know,
it'll get you drunk.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And my family loves to drink. Like it could be a baby shower or a 1-year-old baby's birthday party and everyone's getting hammered. So like, you know, that's where I got my beer love from. But you know, I've been sober for January 1st on New Year's Day. It'll be a whole year. So,
So let me ask you a question real quick, if you don't mind. Let me we're podcasters, right? So as soon as we hear something that we want to talk about, we're gonna like definitely investigate that. So
yeah, I'm an open book. Go ahead.
I know I've heard your flow, and how did your flow change from when you were sober to when you were not? Like, was there a definite change, or was the process different the way you approach music?
The process itself didn't really change. And I guess it's weird for me to say that the flow did too, because I don't notice it, you know, from a first person perspective, you know, you just create. The listeners are going to be the ones who are like, this sounds different if it does, right? You're not really going to notice it. But I mean, what changed was my creativity and my motivation.
Mhm.
The idea of me being sober wasn't because I had a problem with drinking. I was not by any means an alcoholic. I would drink socially with friends on the weekends, maybe a couple days during the week. I'd have, you know, 2 or 3 beers, whatever. But most of the time, towards the end of the year, last year, I started drinking and I wouldn't stop and I didn't know when to stop. And that was my problem. It wasn't how often I drank, it was how much I drank when I started drinking. So, and then I would wake up the next day and I would be miserable and hungover and you know, I'm 36 now. So it's like, I can't drink like I was 22 anymore. And I was, you know, just getting in the Marine Corps and I'm going out to the bar and drinking until 3, 4 a.m. and waking up at 6 to go PT and then go to work for 12 hours. So, you know, it was sometimes like a 2-day recovery period for me. and I wouldn't want to get in the studio. I wouldn't want to write. I wouldn't want to listen to music or beats or get ideas. And I would just want to lay there, play PlayStation or watch TV and recover.
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt like it was kind of messing with my creativity. So I made just a conscious personal decision to just put it down. If I was going to really kind of focus and zero in on something that I really want to do with my life, which is music. And now that I'm with a label, you know, I really kind of need to, you know, pedal to the metal. You know, I don't have time to be fucking off. So
yeah, and plus being a veteran, being in the holidays, having that stigma around it anyway, you don't want to put yourself in that boat of possibly going down that river. So
yeah, and you know, and I noticed a lot of really awesome things started to happen once I did get sober too. You know, it again, I didn't have a problem, but I felt better about not only just my life, but like health wise. I feel like I got better, like my appetite got better. You know, and a lot of things just kind of started to really show face once I stopped drinking, because I just went cold turkey. I didn't, you know, a lot of my friends, you know, they're like, well, why don't you have some of the NA beers? You know, and I'm like, well, I'll drink like the Heineken 0.0s. I'll drink the shit out of those right now, but it has to be 0.0. Like a lot of the NA beers, they have like less than 0.5% alcohol.
Yep.
But there's still alcohol in it. And granted, again, for the third time I'm saying it, but I didn't have a problem. So I don't think that I'd be like, it wouldn't be like a gateway for me to, oh man, this is so good. Like that wouldn't be the thing. But I feel like I'd be letting myself down if I did that, because if I went this long without having any whatsoever, and I just said, you know what, I'll cheat a little bit. Like, I don't want to do that to myself. So if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And so I'll get the 0.0s. You know, Stella Artois has a 0.0, and I used to love drinking Stellas. So I get those. I'll get the Heinekens. I'll get the Budweiser Zeros, the Busch NAs, whatever is available. So that way I can still drink and be social and have fun and whatnot. But I don't have any of the after effects of being hungover or being depressed or losing my vision, or I can't drive a car. you know, I'm always the designated DD. So
I'm almost 50 now, so when I was in my 20s, that's why I kind of stopped drinking, is because no matter if I drank a little bit, like one or two socially, or if I wanted to drink a whole 6-pack or a case or whatever, I would have the most terrible hangover, whether it was 2 or 10. So I was
yeah,
just like, my body type just doesn't do it, so I don't want to even put that stimuli in my body. So I just kind of stopped drinking. But
yeah,
I like it. I mean, I like the smell of it. I have bourbon around here, but I just never drink.
yeah,
The guys all laugh at me because Matt's a connoisseur. Matt
yeah.
Johnson from the podcast, he's a connoisseur of that bourbon. He knows all about it. But yeah,
Yeah.
bad
I mean,
hangovers for me too.
I never really drank hard liquor much. It was more beer. I would take the occasional shot or have an occasional mixed drink. You know, I would do a lot of like Crown and Sprite, Jack and Coke, you know, just little stuff like that. And I'd take, if it was like good bourbon, I liked whiskey and bourbon. So, you know, if it was a really good bourbon or really good whiskey, I'd have it on the rocks and just kind of sip at it. But it was very few and far between when I would drink hard liquor. Most of the time it was just beer. So, but when I drank beer, it went down like water, and I would be 12 deep without even knowing it. And I'd be like, all right, well, I'm out of beer. I feel okay. I'm tipsy, but I need to go get another 12 pack. And then I go get another 12 pack. And then before you know it, I'm 18 beers deep out of that. And now it hits me like a freight train, and I feel like garbage for the next 48 hours.
Yeah, that
And
reminds me of college. Travis, Sam, what do y'all have any good holiday drinks?
I don't drink.
Oh,
So,
good.
I don't drink. I've not had a drink in the past 5 years. I had I have an issue internally that was not found until after I got back to the States.
Oh, wow.
And it was probably somewhere around surgery 40. They're like, listen, you may need a liver transplant. You can't be put on the list unless you're 6 months sober. I'm like, I'm done.
shit.
I'm done. So it's been over 5 years since I've had a drink. But
Congrats.
But
I do have some
Happy Van Winkle. No?
No.
Okay, I just saw the
Blanton's, Blanton's of the North. Caribou
Wow.
Crossing. That's a big old caribou on there.
Huh. Funny that you
So
have that. For my 35th birthday, I had a concert that day, and here in Louisville, and my mom and my stepdad and a few friends drove down from Chicago to be there for my birthday weekend, because it was on a Friday, and then come to the show. And my mom, this is before I got sober, and my mom got me a bottle of, again, you can't really see it because of the freaking
You're
light, but it says Against All Odds.
Mm.
Oh, nice.
And she got it at a distillery, and it's it says 5 wood bourbon to celebrate those who have and continue to give the most. And it's got an American flag with a set of combat boots on. And it stayed closed for the longest time. And I went through a really, about 6 months ago, I went through a really tough time in my personal life. I won't get into that, but I almost had a relapse with that. And I grabbed a shot glass, and I opened that bottle, and I poured a shot. And then I sat there and I stared at it. I was sitting right here in my studio, and I was by myself, and I sat there and I stared at it for like 10 minutes. And I was like, don't you fucking do it. Like, you're going to be a pussy and really drink. You've been 6 months sober. Like, don't do it. And I ended up not drinking it. Obviously, I threw the shot, I poured it outside of the studio, and I closed the bottle. But I keep it here in my studio next to my little MIDI piano over here, for the purpose of just kind of looking at it and reminding myself that I can be strong and not cave. And if I can do that with alcohol, then I can overcome anything else. So it's a nice little reminder. But it'll never get drank, so I'll keep it, and it'll age. And maybe I'll, maybe at some point in my life, if there's a real big cause for celebration, I might have one little shot out of it. But I don't know. I kind of enjoy the sober life. I enjoy not being hungover, and I enjoy just kind of how I've been doing it. So it really depends.
Yeah, gents. Travis has a 8 o'clock hard stop, so I want to get his, words of wisdom for the final Tip of the Spear podcast of this year. Before we
I
roll
was gonna
into
say.
2025. Before we roll into 2025, Travis, what you got?
Oh God, I hope I'm never considered a wise man. I don't know. I just
Put
don't
him,
know.
Put him on
I
the
don't know.
spot.
Um,
Put him on the spot.
There you go. I don't know if I'm wise, but I would say that, like I said before, I think in last month's, it's nice seeing so many veterans come on and use, StreamYards, Apple, Podbean, whatever, YouTube, to tell their story. When I got out, when I was in, uh, you know, military people, primarily men, were not doing this at all. And a lot of them, I mean, I don't know about you all, but I've met Vietnam, Desert Storm 1, and Korean War veterans who suffered in silence with some physical or mental or emotional malady for years without getting help. And I'm hoping what I'm seeing here at the end of this year is the sign that we are breaking that pattern. And yeah, we can go out and be warrior badasses. We can go out and do what we need to do to protect ourselves and our families and our children, right? And we will do that and not even blink twice about it. But I'm glad that it seems like that having a forum and talking to other people and understanding your insecurities, your fears, your hurts, and your pains is okay. And no one's going to judge you, and no one's going to take you less seriously than what you are. In fact, the fact that you're all here and talking this way shows me that there's progress and there's hope.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate you,
For sure.
Travis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a good Christmas, Travis. And go into 2025.
Have
Getting them blankets done. I want a blanket, by the way.
Very Merry Christmas.
I want a blanket,
I'll
Travis.
sing backup,
Yeah.
Travis.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Jack Frost nipping at your nose. So maybe later I'll do a little song for you. But yeah, we'll get the blankets worked out. We wish you Merry Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. As we say in Oscar Mike Radio, we're Oscar Mike Mission Flight. We'll see you.
Yeah.
See you next year, Travis. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Take it easy, Travis.
All right.
I actually got to bounce too, fellas. I got another show I got to do, so I got to go get ready for this one. But I really enjoy being here with you guys. Like I remember when David and I first started talking about doing Tip of the Spear. It was a way to get a bunch of different podcasters together as a collective and maybe talk about some ideas, some little nuggets that we learned from our podcast, bring it together and be able to do it. And David, I mean, I'll just tell you this because I don't get to tell you this that often. What you've done with this podcast, bringing all these people together, it's been a lot of fun. I love seeing all the input, love seeing all the dialogue, and I'm honored to be a part of it. So thanks for letting me be a part of it this year, and we look forward to a better 2025 for the Tip of the Spear.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And I'll see you in March.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Can't wait for you to be on there. Can't wait to tell the stories. And Deeds, we're going to have to get you on there too, brother.
Yeah, I'm pretty open. So, I mean, other than being on, the jump team and being gone every weekend, I can make time.
So when you jump, or you actually like give the refs the ball kind of thing, or like what are you doing?
So like
that's cool as hell.
For next week, so next Friday for the Military Bowl, we're actually Go Bowling is one of the sponsors, and my guys / girls are jumping in a bowling ball. So
are you talking about like skydiving?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's terrifying.
Yeah. So I mean, sometimes they deliver game ball. Sometimes it's just jumping in with a big, huge American flag. But for like the Military Bowl, we'll have an American flag, a Purple Heart flag, the Honor Member flag, the Armed Forces Medley, POW MIA flag. I think we have a Go Bowling banner, and then one of my guys has a live feed camera that he'll jump, so we'll see the entire jump through his eyes, and then of course we'll have the bowling ball.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so you jump yourself?
No, I'm not allowed. I've got some shrapnel near my femoral, so I'm hard grounded. I do a lot of PR, and I do the ground safety stuff, and have a lot of windshield time taking people and gear from place to place.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I bet.
That's crazy.
Yep.
I
Ty,
couldn't
you got any words of wisdom before you jump off?
No, man, I got no wisdom at all. I usually sit in the background. I let my guys throw out all the wisdom. But here's what I tell you: as a collective, we can definitely get this all done. There's so many different issues that are hitting our veterans, and with the new administration coming in, there's probably going to be a lot of changes. So I'll just tell you this: be patient, wait for the changes to come through, and then voice your opinion. Always be heard. Don't be afraid to speak. And that's it. Let your next day be your best day. And as Al Hero says, don't sweat the petty stuff, pet the sweaty stuff. We'll talk to y'all soon.
All right, Ty, appreciate
All right.
you.
Yeah, have a
All right,
good
bud.
one. Ty, Merry Christmas.
For sure.
Man,
Oh, Theory, that leaves you. You got anything left?
Yeah. I want to say Travis has the most soothing voice. I want him to narrate my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah. If Morgan Freeman is not available, I want Travis.
100%. 100%. No, as far as wisdom, man, I mean, those two kind of hit the nail on the head. I guess what I would say is just stay positive. Anything bad that may have happened to you in 2024, don't bring it into next year. Start yourself off with a fresh slate, and the first step is still a step. So, no matter what your goal is for 2025, New Year's resolution, whatever you want to call it, or what your ambitions may be for the next 12 months, just go in January 1st with a clean slate for yourself. Give yourself a little bit of credit, and just stay positive through all the hard times, because that positivity, it can do more than just impact you. It can impact those around you, and it can influence those around you. And it might make someone's day. Like David always says, be someone's stranger. It's kind of the same thing. You never know who's listening or watching and might be inspired by your story or your journey, and it could change someone's life for the better. So stay positive. Love everybody. I love you guys, and I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas. You too, Sam.
Yeah, you as well. Thanks for jumping on tonight. And I'm
Yeah,
going to
man.
put you in the back, and I'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
Just remember, you're not alone. You still have worth. You still have value. Don't let your dark days win. You made it through whatever recruit training you went through. You made it through whatever deployments you went through. You can make it through what you're going through right now. There are people out here that love you, that need you, and will be an ear for you. We'll see you in 2025, the third Wednesday of January, for another episode of Tip of the Spear.